Hey traders, in today's video I want to go over gold and silver. Gold's actually creating a bit of an interesting pattern. It might be creating what I call an end of trend, meaning the end of this downtrend pattern. It may be forming that. I'm going to share with you exactly what to look for so you can keep an eye on it. Plus, I'll also be sharing with you a bit of an update on the GDXJ, SIL, and SILJ as well. And also a bit of an update on the one silver stock that I'm actually invested in right now. A bit of an update on that as well too. Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, let's get straight into it, shall we? Now, what I want to do is firstly, let's look at gold. Gold right now is creating an interesting pattern, and it was actually interesting. I was talking to some of my private clients recently, and we're talking about how the different patterns we actually trade in the markets. You know, same for you, right? Well, you have there's these different patterns that form in the markets. Now, the markets are rigged, yes, but even though they're rigged and the governments are doing what they're doing, the markets do still create these amazing patterns that give you a good probability of having a nice successful trade. And a lot of these trades can create what we call like a 4 or 5, maybe even more reward to say one risk. And that's obviously what we look for in the markets here. And so one of those patterns that I really like to see is what we call an end of trend indicator. Now, let me explain what I mean here. A lot of the times you will see a market go through at the final low of a market, you get a flush down. So what I mean by that is this, is that the market will have a bit of a support, it'll support, and then you get a flush down. That's step number one. One is we get the flush down past these levels of support. Now, if this was going to be the end of trend indicator, so if the trend was actually down like this here, if this is going to be some sort of end of trend where what I like to call a slingshot pattern, because it comes back down, then what we do, what happens is we get back above this support level. And if we do that, then we're likely to continue up from there. It's a very, very powerful pattern. It doesn't mean every single time this pattern forms, it's going to work out that way. But it's a very, very, very amazing pattern when it comes to trading this way. And again, like guys, for me, guys, I have several different patterns that I trade the markets because I have a trading system that I trade for, and for trading the markets. And and obviously I have my investing patterns, and my investing patterns are more long-term, sometimes 12 months, sometimes a couple of year view. My trading patterns, if you like to learn my number one trading pattern, then just go to johnsfreetraining.com, and I'll share with you all the details to my trading system. I won't hold anything back. And one of the patterns I love to see is what we call here. So let me actually share this with you. So right now we see gold has created what? We've actually got a support level here, we rallied up, and we had this flush down. Notice how we flushed down past this support level. So step number one of this pattern is we get a flush down. The step number two for me is to say this is going to be some sort of an end of trend, and the end of trend means this downward move we see. If we can get this pattern to form here, then with very high probability, we're now likely to see the start of a next leg and the next overall leg up. And I say overall because it doesn't go straight up, but the step number two for me is what I would want to see is I would want to see something like this, right? So getting back above these levels here, and especially if we can get back above this previous high point here, that'd be very, very powerful. And it'll be called, it's what I like to call a slingshot pattern. Because it forms at the bottom of the markets, it flushes down, and then it slingshots to the upside and and starts a very nice bull move in the markets. So if I share with you a trade that I actually did with this pattern, if I go back to here with CGC, let me open up CGC here for a minute. Look at this here. Look what happened with CGC. Notice how we had a lot of support. Very, very similar to what gold's doing now, right? We had a lot of support here, and we also had a trend line coming down from here as well too. And nice, we also had this. Let's actually delete this here. So let me just delete this, and we also had this trend line coming down, right? So very similar to what gold's doing right now. So I'm not saying this is going to happen, guys, but if we form this slingshot pattern, what I call the slingshot pattern, then we're likely to start to see an overall move up. Doesn't mean we're going to go straight up overall, but this is likely to be the final low for quite some time to come. And as you can see what happened, we actually broke down. let me just do that. So what happened here, right? We broke down and we went sideways, then we broke back above, right? See how that there, see how it broke below support, and then we got back above the support level. Then guess what happened? Then that point right there was actually where I entered, right? I entered here because it gave me a very good confident sign that we're going to start this overall move up. And many months it went up and made a very nice profit on that trade. And you can see what's actually happened with this stock, right? Look at that there. It's having a pullback right now, but look what happened. It did create this, what I call the slingshot, right? Because it pulled back. And then for the next, say, 12 months or so, we've had a nice move up, bit of a pullback and a very nice move up. Now a pullback. But you can see the slingshot pattern created at least on a short-term basis, meaning from the breakout to where it actually went up, right? For the next 2 months, we had an overall general move to the upside. So if I go back to my gold chart right now, that's exactly what I'm waiting to see. Do we create something like that in the markets? You can see we had a major support back here, support here, support here. Now we flush down. If we can get back above these levels and get back above 1800, there's a massive probability our target will be back above, say, it's likely to get to 1950 on a minimum basis there. Now, guys, doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? These do fail. I would say 30% of the time they fail and 70% of the time they hit the target, which is the other side of the channel. But we haven't got it yet, right? So we haven't got confirmation yet. Confirmation means we get back above the support level. And if we can do that, then we're on like Donkey Kong. I'll give you an example of a trade or an example of where I knew, or I was very, very confident that we're likely to see the final low in silver for quite some time. Now, what was that? Right? It's the exact same pattern, right? This is the weekly chart now. And if I bring up my weekly chart and I draw my support level, look at the back here. See here? This is the weekly chart. Over many years, support, or 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. Look what happened here. What is this here? So an end of trend indicator, right? The end of trend, or what I call the slingshot pattern. Notice how we flushed down past support, and then for the next few weeks, we got back above it really, really quickly. What does that mean? I knew that this here was going to be the final low for many, many years to come. So what do you think I was doing here, right? I already bought some call options back here. I was just loading up a lot more here. So I knew that was likely to come, and then away we go. And so you can see these patterns form. Like if we look at we're talking about this today with some of my private clients, and you can see here, right? Look at this here. U was doing the exact same thing. Low, low, low. It broke down, and then guess what happened? Got straight back above the support level, right here. So straight back above the support level right there, and then the market went sideways, and then guess what? That was the start of what? Yes, it went sideways for a bit. But look at now we've had a big move up, right? It was the start, what I call the slingshot pattern, where the market pulled back, and then we had a very big move up. Now, we don't always get that straight move up like that. Sometimes you can see, right, that it actually spends a bit of time, and then we end up going up. But you can see this here was the final low, just like silver, and that's what I'm seeing when it comes to gold on the short-term chart, on this daily chart. That if we get back above, especially if we can get back above this high up here around the 1800 level, then it's probably it's going to be a very bullish sign for gold, and we're likely to see a very big bullish leg here. So we need to wait for that first. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. And make sure the pattern that I just shared with you is just one of the patterns that I share with you. Is one of the patterns that I use with my trading. I have a couple of different patterns. Now my number one trading system I use. Again, you can learn that when you go to johnsfreetraining.com. And again, I'll walk you through all the details to that trading system, because it takes me time. I break down literally the 4 steps of what I look for. I go through examples so you can understand it as well too on that training. But looking at silver though, is silver is actually squeezing up in this triangle pattern. Now the breakout on silver could be down. We could, the breakout could be the breakout, because we are breaking out. We're breaking out to the upside or breaking out to the downside, but we could break down here. Either way, silver's about to make a big move. If we break down, then we could be getting ready for at least a drop back down towards these low levels back here, back down sort of the $23 level. If we break up, then I see a very, very, very nice move up to around the $40 level, maybe even around the $38 to $40 level. I would say this area here, the zone, as I call it, that'll be the zone that I see in the markets and where it's likely to run to. So, again, because it's just a nice round number there. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys. Quick little update on the GDXJ. Same sort of thing on the GDXJ. Look at this here. We're creating potentially what? A little false breakout to the downside, or a slingshot pattern. If we can get back above, then we're probably likely to start to see a very nice move up. Same for the GDX, or actually not exactly the same, but you can see we had that little bit of support level. We actually flushed down. So it'll be interesting to see whether we do start to pick up from here as well. Again, first sign is we want to get back above here for the bulls. SILJ and also the SIL are still stuck in this overall triangle pattern. SILJ, same thing, stuck in this overall triangle pattern. So if we can get a very nice, breakout to the upside on this SILJ chart, then how I would measure that from a projection perspective, let me take everything off the screen here for a minute, and let me share with you exactly how I do this step by step. So the first thing when I start to see a bit of at least a channel, is I can see we have major resistance here, and then we have major support level here, right? So you can see there's very nice clear defined channel. So if we're looking at this from a channel perspective, how you measure where it's likely to go if we start to break above, say, 1750, is you measure from, I'm just drawing it here, so you measure from the high of the channel down to the low of the channel, and you project that up just like so. And then if I bring that down, then once we break above 1750, there's a really good chance, really good high probability we're going to run towards that sort of 21 level there. Now, I don't know what that is if I go to my weekly charts and if I squeeze my weekly charts up. And what a quinkydink, right? What a coincidence. I think not. The projected of that channel is exactly right on the previous high back here in 2013. It's not a coincidence. It's exactly how the markets work. So if we do start to break above these levels here, then we have a very high probability, no guarantees, guys, right? So make sure you have make sure you don't, and no more than a few percent risk, no more than 2% risk on your account on trading any position here. But there's a very good chance we're going to run to that 2150 and probably even flush above that as well. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this here. As you can see, there's different patterns I'm always looking out for to keep myself in tune with what these markets are doing. If you'd like to, once again, go to Johns, JOHNS, freetraining.com. On that free training, I'll walk you through the 4 steps to my #1 trading pattern that I use. I'll walk you through the 3 secrets you must know. And I'll also teach you the one thing I learned from my mentor that took me from $250,000 in debt trading the markets to then becoming a full-time trader, and what I had to learn, the #1 thing I had to learn to take that switch. And I'm going to teach you all that on that free training. So johnsfreetraining.com. Leave a comment below, guys. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think we're about to make a big move up in gold, silver, and mining stocks? Or do you think we're about to make a move down from there? And oh, by the way, guys, I forgot to mention the stock I was in, EXK, guys. I did promise I was going to give you an update. EXK, I actually got in down here where the arrow was, and EXK is doing very nicely. So EXK is one stock that I'm invested in for long term, for the next couple of years at least. So that's that stock there. So anyway, guys, hope this helps you out, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.